Welcome back. I skipped April's planning video because I was feeling overwhelmed. That is pretty much still true, but I'm here anyway with my May plan with me. First up, I'll show you what April ended up looking like in my journal. Don't get your hopes up too high. This was another pretty hectic month for me. Right off the bat, you can see I stopped tracking everything about halfway through the month. I think the reason for this was my work got really intense. We got a new manager for our team and a surprise deadline to hit by the end of the month, so it was a lot. For April, I set up this time tracker, kind of trying to convince myself to be mindful of how I was spending my time. It did help for the 2 weeks I was able to stick with it. You can see I did some good coding work in here. I really like tracking time this way with the visual bars. I think it looks really good, and just knowing that I'm tracking my time helps me make more responsible decisions. I just got a bit overwhelmed, as usual, but no problem. Sometimes spreads don't get filled out. You just let it go and you move on. My daily pages for April are pretty sparse as well, which always happens when I get really busy. Instead of taking the time to plan out my night, I pretty much either go, get things done, or I do absolutely nothing. And either of those choices, journaling just doesn't really fit into the schedule. If you're curious about what I actually did in April, I should be posting an April vlog soon. But the short version is that I played a lot of Final Fantasy XIV. I got a little bit of game work done in the form of testing my code, so a lot of the progress I made is not visible to outsiders. I just know what I did has made the code stronger. But that's basically all I got done in the month of April. Moving on to May, I wanted to keep things very simple again, but I wanted to make sure I was giving myself more structure. I heard a quote recently, I think it was in a YouTube video, that was something like, if I do what I did today, every day, would I be happy in the long run? So I wanted to design a day that I thought might accomplish that, because I'd been doing a lot of sitting around, skipping my workouts, and when I heard that quote, I was like, well, no, this is not a good thing to do every day. Now, I do know that I can go a little bit overboard with these types of trackers, but I tried to keep it light. We can check in next month and see if I made a huge miscalculation or not. The hardest part for this month's setup was determining what a good day looks like for me without being too ambitious, as I am wont to do. So the first thing I did was sit down and brainstorm all the things I could do throughout the day, like healthy habits, project work, whatever, and then decide if I wanted to make them part of the routine, if they were important enough or feasible enough, or, whatever, if I thought I could fit them into an everyday routine. What I ended up with were 12 things split into morning, evening, and night. And then evening here is kind of including things that would happen in the afternoon as well. To set up the tracker, first I numbered from 1 to 31 with a row for each day of the month, and then columns for each section of habits. This tracker takes up the whole spread because in addition to my 12 habits, I want to add some space for notes here that I'll explain as I go. Starting with the left column, this is for my 4 morning habits. I want to wash my face, do 15 minutes of writing, set intentions for the day, preferably by writing them down in my journal, and then have a healthy breakfast. The 15 minutes of writing I'm still kind of iffy on. I wanted to cut back on writing this year and focus on game development, because I felt like I was pulling my focus in too many directions. But lately, I've been feeling really drawn towards writing nonfiction, so like blog posts, Medium articles, as a way to work through some of the stuff I'm learning and reading. So I struggled with this one, but I ended up keeping it in. And if I find that this routine is still too much, that'll be the first thing to go. The healthy breakfast will be largely subjective. I'm gonna judge in the moment whether I feel like the breakfast I had supports my health goals or not. I don't want to put too much pressure on this or add like numbers or macros or anything like that. I just want this to be a daily reminder, that these choices I'm making in terms of food add up over time. And if I'm being responsible and thinking about the future most of the time, it should be good enough. Next to the morning habits, I have a space where I want to put my goal for the day. So this is kind of tied to my setting an intention. Whatever intention or task I've written down, I want to summarize it here. And I want to use this as a motivating factor so I can get excited about it and also give myself a little bit of accountability because I've written it down. I should do it, in theory. Moving along to the left side of the right page, this column is for my afternoon or evening habits. These are to exercise, wash my face again, so once in the morning and once in the evening, probably when I'm already showering after my workout, have a healthy lunch, meditate, and clean something. Now, a lot of these habits, if you've been following my channel, should seem familiar because these are all things that I've wanted to do at some point or another. They're not coming out of nowhere. I want to build a good flow, a good rhythm. And by connecting each of these to a time of day, I'm trying to give them a place where they belong. So like exercise I like to do in the afternoon before I eat lunch. If I can find a space between meetings or just right after work. I like to meditate after work as well, because I feel like that's when I need to unwind a little bit. So everything on this list is in a rough chronological order so that I know where the habits belong in my daily routine. Also, I noticed that I forgot to put eat a healthy dinner on here. I just have breakfast and lunch, so I won't be tracking it, but I know in my heart that I shouldn't just go totally wild at dinner time, so I will be thinking about that, if not tracking it in the journal. After the evening habits, I have another open space. Here is where I want to put something I did that day. Hopefully, in most cases, this is connected to my intention, so I've made an intention to do something and then I've done it. But even if I didn't do what I set out to do, I want this to be a place where I can do a little bit of reflection and mark down what I feel good about doing that day. And finally, my nighttime habits are here at the end. There are only 3 habits here: do productive work, journal, and floss my teeth. The productive work, I want to keep this very loose. I don't want any minimum time requirements. I just want to take a little bit of action each day, even if it's something small, because I want this to be sustainable. I want this to be a pattern of behaviors and not like a quota that I have to fill. I expect that this habit will probably have some gaps in it. I'm probably not going to do something productive every single day, but I want to do it most days, and just going into it with that mindset, I think it's going to be okay. And then journaling I added in here because I have not been making time to even open my journal and look at it every day. And that is how I end up losing control a little bit. So by adding it into my routine, I am giving that a place in my day as well. And this is the only spread I'm setting up for May, but I feel really good about it. The idea is for everything to be very casual and gentle. I know I'm gonna still be busy in May. I'm probably gonna be busy forever. But somewhere in my busyness, I want to find a way to do these little things that are gonna make me healthier and happier long term, thinking long term here. To decorate, I just added a little bit of color around the edges with one of my fountain pens. Currently, I have my TWSBI Diamond 580 inked up with Sailor Ink Studio number 123, which is this really pretty lavender that has this sort of greenish sheen to it, and the green sort of spreads out from the purple, and it's very pretty. I also think it goes with springtime really well. It's been very warm here, and the trees are flowering, and the flowers are flowering, and everything is flowering here. So that's my setup for May. Just one simple spread and we're done. I'm still super frazzled from deadlines and a couple of late work nights, but taking the time to prepare for May, it makes me feel a lot better. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I hope you got some good ideas for your bullet journal. Let me know in the comments what one thing is critical for your daily routine. What can you do every day that will make you happier in the long run? But that's gonna be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back soon with another video, most likely my vlog for April, and I hope to see you there. Bye bye.